If you struggle with this simple move after 65, it could be a serious warning sign. Did you know that your ability to perform one simple movement could predict whether you'll be alive in 5 years? It sounds shocking, but groundbreaking research has confirmed it's true. This isn't about complicated medical tests or expensive screenings. It's about a basic movement that reveals everything about your mortality risk after 65. In the next few minutes, I'll reveal this critical movement that medical researchers have directly linked to mortality in seniors, and exactly how you can master it to potentially add years to your life, even if you're currently struggling with it. Let me tell you about Harold, a 67-year-old retired engineer from Michigan. Harold considered himself reasonably healthy. He gardened occasionally, walked his dog daily, and hadn't been hospitalized in years. During a routine checkup last year, his doctor asked him to perform this simple movement. When Harold couldn't do it, his physician became visibly concerned. "Harold," the doctor said gravely, "people over 65 who can't perform this movement have a 500% higher chance of dying within the next 5 years." Harold was stunned. The doctor explained that this wasn't just an opinion. It was based on extensive research tracking thousands of seniors. That day changed everything for Harold. He realized he'd been ignoring a critical warning sign that his body had been sending him. But what happened next will surprise you. Harold's story could be your story, and I want to make sure it has a better ending. Topic 1. The movement that predicts your longevity. This isn't just any movement. It's the single most accurate physical predictor of mortality in seniors over 65. Once you see what it is, you'll be shocked by its simplicity, yet amazed by its power to predict how much time you have left. A landmark study from the Journal of the American Medical Association followed over 2,000 adults aged 65 and older for more than a decade. The researchers discovered that those who couldn't perform this one movement were 5.3 times more likely to die within 5 years than those who could. Think about that for a moment. Not cholesterol levels, not blood pressure. This simple physical test was the strongest predictor of mortality they found. Consider what happened to Vivian, a 72-year-old grandmother from Oregon. During a family gathering, her grandson, a physical therapist, noticed she couldn't perform this movement when trying to pick up a toy from the floor. He recognized the red flag immediately and encouraged her to see a specialist. The comprehensive evaluation revealed early signs of a serious condition that, left untreated, would have significantly shortened her life. The specialist told her that without her grandson's observation, they might not have caught it until it was too late. Today, 3 years later, Vivian is thriving because she addressed this critical warning sign. Here's what you need to do right now. Stand in front of a mirror in your home where you can see your full body. Make sure you're wearing comfortable clothing and have nothing nearby to hold on to. Now try to rise from a sitting position on the floor to standing without using your hands, arms, or knees for support. Can you do it smoothly? Do you struggle, or is it impossible? Your answer reveals volumes about your mortality risk. Don't panic if you can't do it. I'll show you exactly how to change that. But first, let's understand why this movement is so powerful as a predictor. Topic 2. Why can something so simple tell us so much about how long we'll live? The answer may surprise you and explain why medical professionals are now incorporating this test into standard evaluations for seniors. Geriatric specialists at the Mayo Clinic explain that this movement integrates nearly every critical system in your body: balance, muscle strength, coordination, flexibility, and neurological function. It's essentially a comprehensive evaluation of your entire physical health in one simple action. Dr. Claudio Guilherme, the Brazilian physician who developed the formal test, explains it is a multiple marker of things that are related to your muscles, your brain function, your balance, all of these things together. Take Dolores, a 69-year-old retired teacher from Atlanta who prided herself on staying active by swimming 3 times a week. Despite her regular exercise, she noticed herself using furniture to push up when rising from the floor while playing with her grandchildren. She dismissed it as normal aging. 3 months later, she suffered a serious fall at home, which investigations revealed was caused by significant muscle weakness and balance issues. The exact problems revealed by her difficulty with this movement. Had she recognized this warning sign, targeted interventions could have prevented her hospitalization and lengthy rehabilitation. Right now, I want you to evaluate not just whether you can do this movement, but how you do it. Do you need to roll to your side first? Do you push with your hands? Do you struggle to balance as you rise? Each compensation strategy reveals specific weaknesses that could be shortening your life. Pay particular attention to which parts of the movement challenge you most. That's where your highest risk lies. Write these observations immediately and keep reading to learn what to do about them. Topic 3. The silent signs you're losing. This ability, most seniors miss these early warning signs until it's too late. The tragedy is that your body tries to warn you months or even years before you completely lose this ability. Researchers at Johns Hopkins Medicine have identified several subtle indicators that appear long before the complete inability to rise without support. These include needing to shift your weight to one side before rising, using momentum rather than controlled strength, feeling momentarily dizzy when reaching standing position, and avoiding floor-level activities altogether. Each of these compensations signals specific breakdowns in your physical systems that correlate directly with mortality risk. Consider Leonard, a 74-year-old retired postal worker who began noticing he always sat on the couch instead of joining his grandchildren on the floor. When his daughter pointed this out, he insisted it was just more comfortable. 6 months later, while home alone, Leonard fell in his bathroom and couldn't get up. He spent terrifying hours on the floor before help arrived. The subsequent medical evaluation revealed significant muscle atrophy and balance problems that had been developing for years. His avoidance of floor positions was an unconscious adaptation to his declining ability, a warning sign he'd ignored. Take this self-assessment immediately. Have you stopped getting down on the floor to play with your grandchildren? Do you avoid picking things up that fall on the ground? Do you always look for chairs with armrests? Do you prefer elevated toilet seats? These behavioral adaptations are your body's way of compensating for the very weaknesses that this movement test reveals. Create a weekly check-in reminder on your phone or calendar. Monitor these signs. Don't wait until you've completely lost this ability. By then, the statistical clock of 5 years may already be ticking. Topic 4. The 4-minute program to regain this ability. What if I told you that just 4 minutes a day could dramatically increase your chances of living longer? It sounds too good to be true, but the scientific evidence supporting this approach is compelling. Research published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology demonstrates that seniors who engage in targeted exercise, focusing on the specific components of this movement, can regain this ability in as little as 3 to 6 weeks. The neuroplasticity of your brain combines with your body's remarkable capacity for rebuilding muscle, even in your 70s, 80s, and beyond. Dr. Jennifer Haye, cardiologist at Columbia University Medical Center, explains that we now know that the human body maintains its ability to adapt and improve functional movements well into advanced age. The key is consistency with the right exercises. Take Nancy, a 73-year-old widow from Connecticut who couldn't get up from the floor without using furniture after a minor stroke. Her physical therapist introduced her to a simple 4-minute daily routine targeting each component of this movement. Within just 19 days, Nancy could rise from the floor using only one hand for minimal support. By day 47, she could stand completely independently from a floor position. 6 months later, her overall mortality risk indicators had improved so significantly that her doctor removed 2 medications from her regimen. Here's your 4-minute daily program to start right now. First minute, sit on the edge of a chair and stand up without using your hands. Repeat 10 times. Second minute, practice balancing on one foot next to a counter or wall for support. 30 seconds each side. Third minute, from a standing position, practice slowly lowering yourself to touch the floor and rising back up using support as needed. Fourth minute, seated in a chair, lift one knee towards your chest. Hold for 5 seconds, alternate sides for a total of 12 repetitions. Do this every single morning before breakfast. Your body will respond faster than you imagine. Don't wait until tomorrow. Your first 4-minute session should happen today. Topic 5. The fatal mistake 83% of doctors make. Even your trusted doctor might be missing this critical sign. This oversight could be silently reducing your life expectancy while you believe you're receiving complete care. A 2020 survey published in the American Journal of Preventive Medicine revealed that 83% of primary care physicians do not regularly assess their senior patients' ability to rise from the floor without using their hands or knees for support, despite the overwhelming evidence of its predictive value. Dr. Michael Wasserman, past president of the California Association of Long-Term Care Medicine, explains that our medical system is designed to focus on disease rather than function. Yet functional assessments like this simple movement test are often better predictors of mortality than many of the expensive tests we routinely perform. Meet Stanley, a 76-year-old retired accountant who visited his doctor religiously every 6 months for checkups.
His blood work always came back normal, and his doctor always told him he was doing well for his age. Neither Stanley nor his physician realized he hadn't been able to get up from the floor independently for nearly 2 years. When Stanley fell at home, he suffered complications that his weakened body couldn't overcome, leading to a cascade of health crises. His wife later learned that a simple functional test could have identified his risk and potentially extended his life through targeted interventions. The next time you visit your doctor, bring this specific request. "Doctor, I'd like you to evaluate my ability to rise from the floor without using my hands or knees for support and document the results in my chart." If they seem unfamiliar with this test, reference the Rising Sitting Test by Dr. Arau. Don't leave without this assessment and specific recommendations based on your performance. Your life may literally depend on requesting this simple evaluation that 83% of doctors aren't providing. Call your doctor's office today and schedule this assessment. Don't wait for your regular checkup. Topic 6. The surprising connection to dementia and Alzheimer's. Researchers have discovered a shocking link between this movement and cognitive decline. This connection explains why this single physical test can predict so much about your longevity. Groundbreaking research from the University of California, San Francisco's Memory and Aging Center has identified a direct neurological pathway connecting physical movements like rising from the floor to the brain regions most vulnerable to dementia and Alzheimer's disease. Dr. Christine Yaffer, professor of psychiatry, neurology, and epidemiology at UCSF, explains, the neural circuits responsible for complex movement planning and execution share significant overlap with those involved in memory formation and cognitive function. When one system begins to fail, it often signals trouble in the other. Consider Irene, a 68-year-old librarian who noticed she was struggling to get up from the floor after gardening. Rather than addressing it as a physical issue, her neurologist recognized it as a potential early warning of cognitive decline. Additional testing revealed subtle cognitive changes that hadn't yet affected her daily function. By implementing a comprehensive program addressing both physical and cognitive exercise, Irene not only regained her ability to rise from the floor, but also showed improvement in cognitive testing over the following year. Something almost unheard of once cognitive decline begins. Try this dual action exercise right now to protect both body and mind. Sit on the floor in a cross-legged position. Count backward from 100 by sevens, 100, 93, 86, while simultaneously raising your arms out to your sides and holding them there. After 30 seconds, try to stand up without losing your hands while continuing to count. This exercise simultaneously challenges your physical strength and cognitive function, strengthening the neural pathways that connect them. Perform this dual training exercise 3 times weekly, ideally in the morning when your neuroplasticity is highest. Topic 7. The 21-day plan to transform your prognosis. In just 21 days, you can potentially change your life expectancy dramatically. This isn't an exaggeration. It's based on clinical observations of seniors who implemented this specific program. A clinical intervention study from the National Institute on Aging demonstrated that adults over 65 who followed a structured 21-day program focusing on the components of floor-to-standing movement showed measurable improvements in all-cause mortality risk factors. Dr. Luigi Ferraru, scientific director of the NIA, notes, the body's adaptive response begins almost immediately. By day 21, we typically see improvements in strength, balance, and coordination that correlate with reduced mortality risk even in individuals with chronic conditions. Take Gerald, a 78-year-old retired plumber who couldn't rise from the floor without using both hands and a nearby chair for support. His geriatric specialist introduced him to this 21-day program. By the end of week 1, Gerald noticed improved balance. By day 14, he could rise using just one hand for minimal support. On day 21, he successfully stood from a seated floor position without any support for the first time in over a decade. 6 months later, his comprehensive geriatric assessment showed improvements in multiple mortality risk factors, effectively resetting his statistical life expectancy. Here's your complete 21-day plan. Days 1 to 7. Focus on the fundamental movements: chair squats, single leg balance, and floor touches. 4 minutes daily as described earlier. Days 8 to 14. Progress to lowering yourself to one knee, then standing back up using support as needed, but gradually reducing it. Days 15 to 21. Practice the complete movement from seated on the floor to standing, initially using hands if necessary, but working toward independence. Document your progress daily with a simple video on your phone. Start right now, not tomorrow, not after checking with someone else. Your 21-day transformation begins with your very next movement. The science is clear. This simple movement is the most powerful predictor of whether you'll be alive in 5 years. But more importantly, improving your ability to perform it can literally transform your life expectancy. You now have the exact roadmap to assess your current ability, understand what it means, and systematically improve it starting today. Remember Harold from the beginning? 6 months after learning about this movement, he worked diligently on the program I've shared with you. Today, he can rise from the floor without using his hands at all, effectively resetting his mortality risk to that of someone years younger. You can experience the same transformation if you take action now. Hit the like button and comment, "I can do it," below if you're committed to starting your 21-day plan today. Subscribe now for more life-saving content that most seniors never discover until it's too late. Share this video with someone over 60. You might literally save their life. Your journey to a longer, healthier life starts with understanding this one critical movement, and I'm honored to be your guide.